growth, which is something very vital and critical for our youth. According to the workshop notes, it has requested us to talk about age 10 to 12, which is the early adolescence, and then 13 to 16, which is the middle junior adolescence. Okay? So we are going to do a comparison so that you guys can understand better. Maybe before that, what is developmental growth? Anyone from class who can guess? What is developmental growth? It's self-explanatory. Anyone can just raise their hand and say it out.
It's progressive growth.
Yes, it is progressive growth, but it has got four aspects, namely one, spiritual, which is very important, two, physical,
Yes.
three, social, then the last one is mental or psychological. Yes, ma'am. There are four. Come again. Spiritual, physical, social, and mental or psychological. So this is where we as leaders, we have to groom our pathfinders in all those aspects in life. Remember, as a leader, you are responsible for each and every child who comes to learn. Because remember, you are leading these kids to the kingdom of heaven. Not only earthly useless, but also to the kingdom of heaven. And also you need to make sure that they're being grown socially, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Okay? And then when I'm asking, what is the goal of doing all this? What is the goal of grooming all these kids, of developing them spiritually, physically, mentally, and socially? We definitely want them to have an ability to be leaders, just like Jesus Christ. If you take our books, our Bibles, and read from the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 52, it says Jesus Christ grew in stature, come on, pathfinders. Jesus Christ grew
in wisdom,
in wisdom,
and in favor with God and men.
In favor with God and man. So we are supposed to be grooming these kids exactly like that. If we as leaders fail to do that, we would have failed these kids. There is no point of us to be coming each and every Sabbath if we are not going to groom these kids. That is where the goal is. So in each and everything, you may forget whatever I've said today, but this particular one, of grooming the kids for the kingdom of heaven, that is the best one. Now let's get to the comparison. Please draw a table. I'm gonna give you time. Are you guys settled now? Please draw a table. In the middle, I'm gonna give you 7 points of each, and then I think I'll be done with my presentation. It's quite short and just a table. Can you please give me a two that was? Thank you. Just a T like this one.
Okay.
Just like this one.
The accounts one.
Yes. This one is for 10 to 12 years. Okay? Sorry. This one is for 13 to 16 years. Okay? Right. So this one is age 10 to 12 years. We said it's what? It's what? Well done. Early adolescence. And then 13 to 16 is? Adolescence. There is also, by the way, 17 to 18, which is now senior. At least those ones are pretty mature, they think they can take care of themselves. But let's listen. Now, the general part of the differences. This one, the first one, they are still kids, but they are expected by us adults to do well. As leaders, guys, we should never ever think that these kids, they should be on their own, especially in the camps. I grew up in an Adventist family, fortunately, and I've seen how we used to behave, how we were expected to do everything on our own. There is nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong, but groom the child while you are next to them. That's where the age difference is, because they are still 10 years, 11 and 12 years. And remember, this stage, kids, they are still finding themselves, they are still confused, they are still trying to figure out life, even in our church. So we as leaders, we need to feed these kids to do the right things. Okay? And then on the other side, which is 13 to 16 years, they need privacy. Have you seen them? Even if they are bathing now, they want to hide, they want to lock, they are telling their mummies to get out of the room, they are telling their daddies, daddy, no, and all that. It happens, and we as the church, we need to remain the of the world so that the world can be taught by us. Our Precious has just taught that we should go out and reach out those people. You can just simply call people in the community and teach them about the differences between adolescences so that the parents can be equipped simply because we're later. Do you think we can do that, leaders? Do you think we can do that? Let us not just be master guides of content, but master guides of giving people the right education. Okay, so this time, these ones, 10 to 12 years, so you see your children, guys, from what stage? I think the diamond falls under this age, okay? So these ones, they think logically. Be very careful of what you say to them. That is how when I had problems with mental problems, I had to attend that for my child's sake, so that I observe their steps on their developmental growth. It's very important. Spiritually, physically, mentally, you will see their performance in school. It's leveling up on that age. They are no longer position ones. They are no longer. Because there's a lot of information that they get from adventurers to pathfinders. Now, they think that they have logic. No, mommy, and be very careful. They're always believing their teachers. So let us be very careful as leaders. Make sure that we influence these kids the right way, because the very first teacher is the one that captures their brains. Okay? And then on this other side, those ones, they are always they are argumentative. It's argumentative, the 13 to 16 side. Yes. So it's a and these ones are logical, these ones are argumentative. In the bus, I once went to them, last year, the Bobo Joy's son. They were debating about science, serious information. So what information are we providing as the church for these kids to debate? Now, I remember at that age, I was very young, and I happened to attend in an Adventist school. So when I come back home, our friends in the community, they would always ask, why are you always going to church on Saturday? No. Then we were so ready for them. Equip these kids so that they may have answers out there in the world. Why they were attending on Sabbath? Maybe some of them they don't know, maybe some they do. But we as leaders, we are responsible to teach these kids because we are grooming them. It's called a developmental growth for a reason. Now going back to 10 to 12 years, they become more goal-oriented. Have you seen them? They become more goal-oriented. Now, by the grade man that civics do you grade man? Grade 5. Remember when they are about to go to grade 7, now they are asked, even the career days at school, they are asked, what are you going to be when you grow up? I want to be a doctor. They are goal-oriented. Now, they will research more about that. If I want to be a doctor when I grow up, then what courses should I do? What should I make? Now, as a church, does it ring a bell? I saw a very beautiful thing, man, in the morning. Kids memorizing the verses. And I hope our kids are not just going to memorize the verses, but they are going to understand them and apply them in their own lives. Because they are in a very critical stage of thinking that church is just a place where you go and socialize with friends. It's good to provide social, but let us also groom them spiritually. Hariska, let's not take things for granted as leaders. We need to understand with these kids, they need to be taught these things. And then on this side, now, this is the very critical part. 13 to 16 years, that's when they start to, the graph is lowering for church things. They take things for granted. They do what? They take things for granted. They think that, church, I think they are developing pubic hair, the breast. They think that, because of the influence they get from school or from the community or from everywhere. So that also one, if your child is in that age, make sure that you sit here or him down. Don't take things for granted because you go to him or can you with him to church every Sabbath. Make sure that you make the child understand on that stage. Because when they argue out there, they need to know points. Now we are filter. We go to the mental part of the things. Now this one is very critical about the word that how they behave. There is no child who just behaves. Did you know that also? There is no child who just behaves. That is the psychological part of things. If your child home I know what we are going to say, especially we as black people. We will obey exactly what I'm saying to the one. Oh my God. If your child says no, I could relate and you will be surprised. No, that means who easily disturbed. I could relate enough that you'll be surprised. Well, give you an assignment here, we will not hear, of course, you just write notes like you want your kids. But go to your child. Ask them, Kuri, Nana, why are you refusing when I send you to do that? It's very deep. Maybe it's a behavior that he is used to do in school in your absence because you're not always with your child, right? Or maybe he saw that from someone else. Now it's your responsibility as the child, as a parent and as a leader, to teach a child what you are doing is not right. Come beforehand. If in the house, I can have a shout. We just tell them don't call nice so that children can be instilled in their head. That's why the Bible says, the Roman says, give me a child for only 7 years. Then you will never find him. Okay? And then how to fit. They've got mood disorders. Age group yeah, 10 to 12, they've got mood disorders. Then how about the ladies? Because I give you Mama, they start periods. We understand periods all of us in the house. I give that's why you must be at least 18 years and above. In such presentation, so that risk of that. So, Baba had a problem with mood disorders. Mood disorders, how do I get away on? I understand mental health because I had to research about it. But one day we're going to come and unpack all of them. While this other group, they start having anxiety. Have you ever seen them? Because a child from adventurers, they're not scared to present them again. But the minute they become pathfinders, they no longer want to present. Can you please go? They check their scheme if the scheme is doing it. If they don't want, they don't. So be careful. It is not just something that we should take. There should be maybe problems at home that they are observing that are affecting their behaviors, or maybe the child was assaulted or was sexually abused, or the child is being abused financially, emotionally, physically, or any otherwise, or any other kind of abuse. So the child develops anxiety disorder. One, it's depression. It's body concerns. Have you ever seen them like, now my skin, mommy? This age, very critical. My skin, mommy. I'm too tall. I'm so dark. I want to be a yellow bone. No, my hair is so short. Can you please buy me an expensive wig? Mommy, will you buy me an iPhone? You understand? It's not by getting or maybe they're just moving forward. It's the pressures, it is the age that they are in. So we need to step up and teach and maybe develop such programs, remember that from the conference, legal effect, to teach these kids in our local churches so that they know this thing called life better. Because you don't want to end up seeing this child of yours other pregnant. Low self-esteem. I think I wrote it that class. They develop low self-esteem a lot because of their appearances. If she or he is on social media, if Unalidi likes the 5, because it appears that I can go 10,000 followers on TikTok. Because this age group is on TikTok. And those things, the depression, if Una as parents and leaders would not talk about them. Unfortunately, we are living in the world empty home. So now, how do we teach our kids to limit their social media and be friends with their Bibles? It starts with you as a parent. It starts with you as a leader. It starts with you as a firstborn. How many firstborns are here in the house? Do we have firstborns? Shame on you. Because you are automatically leaders. I think one may even NNY, why not? Or you teach the firstborn and the rest of the children will just automatically they fall into place. I know it's a very heavy responsibility, but you are leaders. And then now point number 2, this part, they have behavioral disorders. By akhela fancy, they have anger issues. But the anger now. Because how much as parents we never allow our kids to express themselves. We always want us, remember I said more than a hug. What's all the time. And we never allow our kids to express. We never even ask them, Nana, how do you feel that oh, that 12 o'clock just because you forgot them? How would even we as parents, I remember at home, my dad, because I grew up in a farm, and my dad would give us, especially on holidays, a free Thursday of not doing anything. And it helped us a lot. We would work hard during the week, looking forward to Thursday, knowing that it's a free day. Let's give our kids such things. Let's provide. I'm not saying that you should do as my dad did, but you and I'll get out with some nice. Okay, maybe a pizza Thursday. I'm just making an example. Okay, a craft day or something, so that our kids remember at I know in these days it's not easy with us because social media really religion. We are content creators. We don't have time for our kids. We are content creators. So and then another one. Sorry, Kuba. On this age. But any problem with identity. What may you that if you happen to be or have a child while you were still young, don't hide that one here. Never do that.
Okay.
No matter how embarrassing it is. Ndagwamana. Mwana ele mong una litugelo. Ya udzima ndagwamana. They have just made that a justice for your child because when you give it for the rest of his or her life. Everywhere simply because that child is missing out on identity. Okay? And then point number I get a remove mental management. And then the very last point now on this very side, on the 30 and 14 side, boys and girls, they have anxiety, but girls, have you ever seen those big children? But tell, first of all, from school, they make fun of them. Do you have teachers in the house? Do you have teachers in the house?
Yes.
Don't you have cases in school where kids who are being reporting every day because I'm a bit huge?
We do.
What are we planning to do as leaders in church to make sure that those kids they gain self-confidence?
I think the first thing is to help them to appreciate that any body shape, any body size, it's still normal.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's a book I once read. It was talking about appearance, teenage appearance. It's in the title, even the author now, unfortunately. But in Ibuaka, the activities that must be done in our communities, in our churches, and everywhere where we live. Where they listed all the animals. There was Tohu, never more all the advantages that Tohu, which is the elephant. An elephant in matter. But the one who is a slender animal. If we can, maybe in our classes, or just maybe fun activities, so guys, you're going to learn about animals and weight. About their body weight because they will not answer you. Trust me. Psychology says that. We at the animals. Can you see a dog? It's tiny, but it's faster than dog. And dog is big and huge, but it has energy. Anything. And then the giraffe is taller, and as a result, it is reaching the high fruits and the most expensive and fresh fruits. The tortoise is a bit shorter and it's slower, but it is the one that is more energetic than you understand.
It lives longer than any other.
It lives longer because of the energy. Because the slow way is the fastest way, and even in business, even in life, marriage, parenting, and everything. Now, very filter to social. This side, the 10 to 12, they are negotiators. Now, that's where they think that they no longer need their parents. Have you seen your kids? When they're always asking, Mommy, can I visit Mommy's house, Mama's house? I get who's out of city. I get who's out of men. I've seen Renee, can I visit Amakila's house? They think parents don't matter at this stage. They think friends it's their world. Overshare all the time. They think parents don't matter, so be very careful. And then point number 1 on this side. They are uncertain, they are unhappy, and they are sensitive. Uncertain, unhappy, and very sensitive. Anything that you say to them, in Dwafe, no, people are judging us in church. That's why we laugh. And as a result, this age group, why do you not feeling it again? And I'm like, but Ulama, and if you empty, Mama to feed them, if you have a again, there's something wrong by it. Even if they don't do it practically, like it starts with the conversations. I get all the conversations where they have to visit their diaries secretively. So, what are they thinking? I know it's invading the privacy when they are 18 and above, but at least this age group, they are still minors. Psychology accept that for the parent, need to get out of diary how as long as she is 18 years and less. Because I'm 18 and above, go to us. We should understand these things, okay? And then this side, they adapt various environments. They relate to the world. I wonder what is the world. They check all those things, those fantasy. They even know the name of the movies. They even know if they watch soapies. Every other thing they know. They even know like piano at what time and all that. They know even the names of the people. That is when you need to instill most of the information and never hating because they are empty vessels that need to be filled and stemmed with the right information. Okay? And then coming to the side. Bani, they are spending time alone. Have you noticed them? Especially boys. But girls, for them to gain confidence, it has to be a group of people. By all these things, they will even, if but to take a you will see them shouting or singing. They enjoy doing things together. But these ones, they always spend time alone. And then the last point on social, which is the 10 to 12 age, they determine their point of views. I think we've covered this on the general one, which is they think they are logical. Okay? So you may repeat the point, it's fine. And then the last one, they are convinced that all people are watching them, they are judging them, their body image and their clothes. That's when they start wearing short skirts, the girls here. And how government no, a skirt should be on top of the knees or below the knees. And they will feel like they are not loved. And overshare, in psychology, I should mention this one even if it's not part of the presentation. This age, you should check your child the colors that she's choosing from the shops. The minute your child on this age chooses dark clothes, that child is depressed. No? Depressed. Yes. It should be navy, dark, or brown. That this child is depressed. Especially for Bata in your affair. I understand when she wants to use. When we're trained in mental cities, it's just that I cannot colors. But it was black. Then they also took red. Red like this. Okay? And then they take green. Then they only took one line of green. Okay? Just to give you a bit, green means mental health. Green means what? Mental health. Red means depression. Means what? Red, right? Red for danger. In everything, once you see red, it's for danger. So your child, if you color red, also be concerned. Moshe, that child might be a bully in school. That child might be the one that that child might be the one as a result, these kids if you used to be rich, the minute your financial situation is shabafat, they threaten to kill themselves and they will tell you as a parent. Now as a parent you have to go up and hang yourself simply because you want to save your house. Let's check our kids. Developmental growth. I've seen most of the kids' behaviors. It's just that I'm so scared to approach the parents sometimes because I wonder how they trained mentally. That's why I once asked a presentation because that is very important. Other parents, they are not even aware which signs to check. They don't know. I don't want food. You become happy because it was just a
time out.
And then the black one now, which is very sad. Your child's spiritual life is usually very dead. Your child is just living physically because of day. Well, she wakes up, she listens to everything. She's a submitter. She's becoming submissive. At this age, how your child is too submissive, be concerned as well. Because when they are argumentative, very argumentative. How about Managa? Okay, mommy, and she'll do it. Managa, okay, mommy, she'll do it. Be concerned as a parent. Because
Okay.
mwana living how we want to do it. Jolo and the rich local, but how long I think we've got 3 types. We've got aggressive, we've got the mid, the mild ones, and then there. We've got aggressive, assertive, and submissive. Let me write them down, just for your information, right? Aggression, right? And then assertive, okay, and then submissive. I know my 90, my 80, my 70, they fall down. Those people are too aggressive. I didn't go Mandela, they were fighting. So what the actual information is. Then assertive type, Kima 2000 Tamad. However, clearly, you don't. And then the submissive type, I want to go I give you a programmed. You know. So as a result, they are in a confused identity matter because they are in between of being assertive and submissive. They think standing up for themselves is wrong or it's rude and it's just being assertive. But I was just passing on that point. I've got how many minutes left?
Yes, actually 3.
3 minutes, okay. Then the physical part, this side, they gain weight, muscle growth, and genital maturation. Here you name them pubic hair, menstruation, and all of them. So it's okay as a parent, if you have a girl, graduating, and also educate the boys. Let's not leave the boys behind on this stage. How about not a pet of a child? They should laugh. My Hungary Campbell lady friend, we saw horses intimate, they were intimate. You know these kids, they said, And I remember Musa, Roger, and so you guys, you had a very great opportunity to actually educate them right while it's happening. So that also was a did when we are teaching them about sex, they will ask them, who the answer one dating? So how are you going to answer? So if they saw the parent, the answer one, they'll just take it. And then this side, they are not sociable with adults. If you learn that they don't open up this side. They think and now the dangerous part about this side is that and they think all the things that are being said by friends or TV or YouTube or internet is right. Okay? And then the second point on physical from this side, they are starting their period, I think, recovery, and then this one, they are anxious to be liked. They even invest in opposite sex. They confide so much in opposite sex. But don't judge them. Sit them down. After now, I would love to know the relationship you have with if give us anyone aesthetics, what understand it, get it, check for maturity for individual guy. So that if they start eating, don't judge them. Tell them the consequences. These kids they listen, they have brain, they will understand. Then the last one, which is the spiritual side of things. These ones they're enjoying all those Bible games. I think they are still discovering who is Yona. When we buy them Bibles, they get excited. So invest. But they don't even know who Bible is about to guy. They just come, get a game, go to and